Recording has started. Okay. I don't know where my full screen is. I'm not getting that.
I think you click right on. I think you have to click on the presentation.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Pamela Cook with King County Metro's Business Transportation Solutions Group, and I'm here to walk you through the fundamentals of commute trip reduction. Welcome to ETC training, and welcome aboard. You are now getting on the bus to ETC training, and by the time you get there, you're going to be familiar with the purpose of program review, what your CTR program requirements are, what is the meaning of a good faith effort, and you'll be familiar with the online biannual reporting process. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Here we go. What is the purpose of CTR program review? The review is done biannually by your King County Employer Transportation Rep, that's myself, or my coworker Ann Ward Ryan, and it's done for several reasons to help you improve your program. It'll help the reviewer, that's us, identify the program enhancements that you may have made. It also allows us to evaluate whether your program is strong and is meeting the jurisdiction's goals and targets. It'll help us see whether employers are making a good faith effort in their program. It'll help us confirm that the biennial program was indeed implemented. It'll confirm any requested program modifications that you may have requested have been fully incorporated into your program. And it'll ensure that the minimum requirements of the CTR law are being met. It also is going to help employers to design effective programs that may help increase the number of non-drive alone or NDAT trips to your work site. Reviewing your CTR programs gives us the information that we need to help develop effective employer programs and to potentially identify grant opportunities that might become available. This happens occasionally, and we'll certainly let you know if funding is available that you might be able to take advantage of to support your program. Okay, we have a stop requested. What exactly is a good faith effort? These are some definitions of what a good faith effort entails. And in terms of CTR, making a good effort means that you're really putting your best foot forward in regard to your CTR program and educating your employees and meeting the basic requirements, and also communicating with us, your team, in regard to those efforts. Some examples of these efforts include developing and implementing and monitoring a program that's going to produce a continuous trend in NDAT or non-drive alone trips. It means working with your jurisdiction. It means participating in CTR activities that are available and just generally being a well-informed ETC. It also means that you're going to be submitting accurate information and data to us in a timely manner. So here are some fundamentals of a commute trip reduction program. A good program needs a set of elements that will encourage progressive trip reduction among your employees. A site needs to have an engaged ETC that is always promoting the program and giving assistance to its employees. The ETC who's been appointed will need to be reviewing basic training such as this one that you're involved in right now in order to build a strong program foundation. And it means sharing information about your CTR program at least once annually with your employees, and as well as providing ongoing information about the alternatives to driving alone. And this can be done through a variety of ways. You may have a newsletter that you publish, either a hard copy or online. You may make web postings on your internet site. You may post physically posters and flyers, advertise campaigns such as wheel options or bike to work. You may host transportation fairs, and you can communicate about all these things in any variety of ways that are available these days with all of the technology and social media. You may provide information at new hire orientations. This is something that the CTR law requires. You need to let your new employees what your program consists of. And a good information packet could include these things. An explanation of what your CTR program is and the elements that are included, information about carpooling, vanpooling, bike ped options, and you might even have a CEO that encourages CTR and wants to include a welcome letter in that packet to your new employees. You may want to host an optional event each year. This is something that we can help you with if you're interested in doing that. And there are turnkey campaigns such as the Bike to Work promotion that's actually coming up very shortly here, and the Wheel Options campaign that happens each autumn in October. We encourage you to participate in these, and we'll provide materials for that, but you also may want to do your own event, and we certainly encourage you to do that as well. A good program would include an emergency ride home program so that your employees have an alternative so they can get home in an emergency situation if they do use an alternative mode to get to work. Implementing a parking policy or a parking program is a good thing to do. You'll need to submit a CTR report every 2 years that highlights the elements of your program. And you'll need to be conducting an employee survey every 2 years in between the times when you're submitting program reports. So these two things alternate from year to year within any given biennium. We ask you to maintain all of your CTR records within each biennium so that you have a record of what's taken place and so that you can refer to them if you need to. Now, you may have asked yourself why parking is important. If not, you're certainly going to find out about that because it's the #1 predictor of whether people drive alone to work or use an alternative commuting mode. And you're probably quite familiar with the fact that parking is or can be very expensive. Now, we mentioned an emergency ride home earlier. If you're providing this, it'll give your employees peace of mind. They'll know that if they do use an alternative mode to get to work, that they'll have an option to get them home in a hurry if they need to get there. King County offers kind of a standalone emergency ride home program. There's also a program built into the Orca Passport program. That's part of the program. It's already included. And for state agencies, there's a separate program available to those agencies, and we can give you information about that if your site qualifies for that program. So just inquire if you happen to be a member of a state agency. All right, here's our next stop, the biannual reporting process. We're taking a little detour here to ask whether this question is true or false. As an ETC, you're working hard to promote commute options, but your company has not yet implemented the minimum requirements. Is your company still making a good faith effort? And the answer is false. The worksite must be meeting the minimum requirements and needs to make an effort to continuously grow and improve the program to be considered in good faith. And another big question is, what goes into the biannual report? So for your report to be complete, it needs to include these things. Submission of the online report itself, and your report needs to have a signature from your CEO or other highest ranking official at your worksite. And if you have recently implemented any of these things, compressed work week, telework, or a subsidy, you want to be sure to include those things in your report so that we know that you have implemented them and that you're practicing those things. And we need to see a copy of your CTR program summary, which is also, could be referred to as your site's marketing piece for your CTR program. It lets your employees know what's available to them in terms of their transportation options. And here's some helpful hints for a program. It's always a good thing to meet with your management folks and potentially with your employer transportation representative. Again, that's myself, Pamela Cook, or Ann Ward Ryan here at King County Metro. And, to check in with your employees too in regard to your program elements because, all of those entities can play a part in forming your program. And it's a good idea to gather support documents before you start your annual report. You may need to refer to these documents for the information that needs to be included in the report, such as number of parking spots, those types of things. So, do your homework and gather that information before you start. All of us tend to procrastinate. We're all very busy. So please make sure you allow plenty of time to complete your report by the time it is due, and we will give you ample notice of when that is to happen. Okay, we're taking a little coffee break here. Are you still with us? Now, which of these things do you not need to include in your biannual report? A, the signature of your CEO or other highest ranking official. B, any copies of updated and new policies. C, a new hire packet. And the answer is C. While we do require you to share information with your new hires, you are not required to include that information with your CTR program report. As long as we know you're doing it, that's fine. And the timeline for completing your CTR biannual report is as follows. All the jurisdictions in King County have a deadline by which their ETC needs to complete the biannual report. And in general, in King County, the reports are due in the springtime. And this is something you may want to be aware of. You as the ETC are allowed to request up to 90 days of extension time in regard to submittal of your program report. If there's something interfering in the process and you need more time, just let us know and we can make extension arrangements on your behalf. For newly affected sites, affected employers are required to conduct a baseline survey within 90 days of becoming CTR affected. And likewise, once you're affected and you complete your baseline report, you will then be given a copy of your CTR survey results and will then be asked to submit your initial CTR program report within 90 days of having received those survey results. And that's really it in a nutshell. We want to thank you for joining us for this presentation. And if you have any questions, please contact myself or Ann, and we'll be happy to assist you. All right. Thank you, everyone.